everyone, it's Andy from Hobby Headquarters. Well, I've got two really cool, exciting kits to share with you guys today that we're going to do kind of a quick review. The very first one is from a brand new company called Voiio, and they're out of China, and their first model kit, the very first one, is an M1A2 SEP version 2 ABRAMS, which that's quite a long title right there, but it's a brand new model kit, brand new company, and I've actually already done the review portion of the video, and I've gone through it, and it's a beautiful kit inside. Lots of detail. It looks like to be a fairly easy kit to put together. Very excited about. In fact, I've actually already started gluing together all the lower parts of the suspension and the lower hull and stuff, because we are going to build this kit up completely. Very excited about that one. So that video will be out pretty soon. Also, we're going to take a look at the new Ryefield model M4A3E8 Easy 8 Sherman. And you guys might remember, what was it, about a year ago, the year of the Sherman. I think this is going to be the year, or the end of the year, plus going into next year, of the Sherman. Because this kit is coming out, followed up by Takom has a new Sherman coming out, an M4A376 wet. That'll be coming out, and then I'm also hearing lots of rumblings that there's going to be a whole bunch of new Shermans coming out too, some with interiors, so all kinds of cool stuff coming on. So today's video is just going to be a quick breakdown of the parts. We're going to tell you and show you all the different parts of the sprue and how we think they're going to go together, and then we'll, of course, we'll do some other videos of building them up. So let's get started. Okay guys, the very first kit we're going to take a look at is from a brand new company called Voiio, and their very first offering up to us is a 35th scale M1A2 SEP version 2 ABRAMS. And like I said, it's a completely brand new company, and I just started looking through this kit, as I'm going to show you in a few seconds here. Very, very nicely done. So let's take a look at the sprues inside. Okay, the very first thing we're going to take a look at is the hull of the kit, and Voiio has included a bathtub style hull, and you can see this has obviously been slide molded because they had a top and bottom mold, and then they had all of this nice detail that you don't have to attach because it's already molded into place, and very nicely done. The next thing we're going to take a look at is the turret and some of the accessories that go with it. I'm going to get kind of close for you guys. First thing you'll notice is that they've put the anti-skid texture on the vehicle, which I super appreciate that because it's a giant pain in the butt to try to go ahead and put that on. Obviously it's not impossible, but a lot of work to do that. Another thing, as I was looking throughout the kit, and I'll show you guys as we go along here, Voiio has included quite a bit of slide molding, and that's what this little bump up in the mold is right here. So the 50 cal has been molded, slide molded, as well as all these other accessory parts. So as we go through the different sprues, I will point them out to you and show you the different ones that have the slide molding on it. You see some of the different parts there. And of course this is the bottom of the turret and the rear and a few other little accessories of the tank. And now we're going to take a look at the upper part of the hull. Let you see some of the casting on it, as well as the anti-skid. And of course, like I typically do in my review videos, at the very end of me talking right here, we will go ahead and show you the parts on a individual stills. And once again, some more slide molding done on here, so all these little portions of it have all been done like that. We have this sprue right here. So we have our barrel. It's a multi-piece barrel, but once again, you can see that it is slide molded, and I really appreciate that, especially with a modern day barrel and with the recuperator and things like that on it. It's so much nicer when it's done slide molding. Zoom out a little bit. The sprues are going to get a little bit larger as we go here. And then we've got the side skirts and some of the suspension pieces. And then we go to our wheels and suspension arms. Very easy and straightforward on that. Even a little bit of slide molding done on this portion of the sprue. And then we have our clear sprues, And they've even included little water bottles to put on it. And you can see the individual vision blocks, or actually not individual blocks. All the blocks are molded together as one piece. Makes it a lot easier for assembly, especially if you're just going to insert it inside there, but you still get all the detail of having the blocks in there. The tracks. Now the tracks on this are rubber band, which are really, really nicely done, I think. I personally, especially on these kind of modern day vehicles, I like having the rubber band tracks. I'd say about 60% of the track is not even seen anyway because it's covered up by the side skirts. The track is live on this kit, so it's not going to have any sag anyway. And honestly, it saves you a heck of a lot of time putting on this right here. And once you weather it up and detail it, looks, I think, just as good as any of the other ones out there. And look at a few other little things. First of all, they give you a large sheet of Cartograph decals, as you can see right here. So we have all different units, different markings, big American flags if you want to put those on there. There is also photo etch included in the kit. And you can see all the basket frames are all photo etch, so that's a nice little inclusion on there. There are also a couple of sprues of more of the identification plates on the side here, plus all kinds of oil cans, gas cans, look like ammo cans. You actually get 2 sprues of this particular one right here. Finally, we'll take a quick look at the instructions. A lot of people ask me about that to see how, how the kit is actually going to go together based on the instructions and how clear the instructions are. And looking through them, they look like they are pretty straightforward and easy to follow. They are done in color, so it'll give you an idea of what, markings. Sometimes you get a black and white line drawing and you're not quite sure what the color is supposed to be, but they've kind of broken it down, each one of the sections, how it gets painted up. And as you can see here, it doesn't look like a very super difficult kit. It's very nicely detailed. There's lots of accessories on it, but it looks like something that we can build rather quickly. And the different, like the Avion and the Nestle's bottles right there, which I'll bet you anything, I got to check again, I'll bet you the decals have the water bottle pieces on there. And then of course the different markings, you can build the ones that are over in, I'm sure it's in Iraq, and this one is based in Germany here. And I think there's like 4 or 5 different versions of it. One other quick thing I should point out too, I just found another piece here, I forgot. In the all the wheels have a center hub on the real vehicle that is clear, and Voiio has molded those up. Let me move this out of the way so you can see. They've molded them up slide molded, so they're all done in a smoked clear plastic, so you'll be able to put that on there. And I think you'll actually be able to notice that when you're putting it on the vehicle. So that's the Voiio kit. We are definitely going to start building this kit up right away. This is actually my next build. As soon as I get done with the review video, I'll start cutting parts off the plastic sprues and start putting this together. And of course, we'll have a video on that too. So right after I'm done talking, don't forget, you're going to have the sprue shots, and we'll move on to the next kit. Okay, the next kit we're going to take a look at is a brand new one from Ryefield Models. This is the M4A3E8 Sherman, the EZ8 Sherman, and this one is a little bit different in the sense that it has complete workable suspension and tracks. And when you see the parts, you'll see what I'm talking about in a few minutes here. Now, obviously this is the very first Sherman to come out from a new company, and of course you know how this all works now. This will probably be the end of this year, will probably be the year of the Sherman, because you already know that Tacom has got a Sherman coming out, and you know it's only a matter of time before every other company decides to put out a Sherman, which is a good thing because it's actually kind of nice to see some new Shermans come out. And I'm sure we're going to probably be getting one with, or multiples I should say, with interiors coming soon too. So maybe even something from Ryefield, who knows on that. But let's take a look at this one right now. Okay, let's take a look at the first sprue, and the first sprue is going to be made up of the parts that make up the lower part of the hull. Now, as you can see in here, we have a multi-piece hull, and it shouldn't be much of a problem going together. I've done a few of these before. It's obviously a little quicker when they give you a bathtub style, but they can get some other types of detail on here. There is some bracing involved in here that'll solidify it up nice and strong, as well as, you know, once you put this transmission housing on it, it really locks it into place. But you can see there's some nice detail on like the final drives and some of the other detail parts in there. And of course, more and more companies are going to this now where the sprue marking is punched out, so it's very easy to see. Next, we're going to take a look at the upper part of the hull, and right off in the front here, you can hopefully see. We're going to get it at reflection off the light right here. You can see the markings on it here that from the rolled steel, where it's not a perfectly smooth surface, it's just kind of a little bit of a texture to it. And then up on top here, you can see there's some nice texture from like the castings when they cast this stuff up right here. So there's some, you know, defects in the steel, so to speak. No, I shouldn't say defects, just the actual natural markings from casting up metal. And that is also true on the turret. We've got the nice effect, and actually really shows up nicely, I think, looking at it here. Very nicely done, the way you can see some of the pitting and stuff on the side of the turret. So I think that'll, once we cut paint on that, I think that'll look really good. Now over here we're going to see the rest of the turret pieces. So we have the lower portion of the turret, the mantlet, the cupola. The barrel is all one piece. It'll just be a little bit of a seam that you have to take out down the middle, and the muzzle brake is right here, as well as like the light. That is all done with slide molding, so that second slide went in there, which I should probably even point out to that. I thought most people knew about that, but I've had a lot of questions and say, what is slide molding? So obviously when the two halves of the mold put together like this, they form both sides. There is a third part of the mold that pushes in right here, so that part will come out, then the two sides will separate, and that's how you can get these hollowed out cavities inside here. So works out really good for that. Now we're going to take a look at the tracks. Now the tracks are completely workable on this kit, and looking at this sprue right here, it is going to be a decent amount of work. It is cool that they work. Personally, I am probably not going to make them work, you know, the suspension part, because that my vehicle is going to probably be just on a flat surface. So what you basically have to do, you have to pull out all of these bars, cut them all out, and then this is a top and bottom. Here's the cleat side, and then the other side here is the inside pad. So that is going to go on top of those, and then you're going to glue them all together, and then finally there's a guide horn in the middle of it. So the tracks are going to be really pretty and nice that they work. There's also a guide to put them up right there, so you get them nice and even and straight. But just to let you know, there's 5 of these sprues inside this kit, so it's going to be a decent amount of work, but I think they're going to look really cool. And for those who don't want to put all this together, you know, there always is going to be an aftermarket or a rubber band type track that you can get a hold of that will replace this. Now we're going to take a look at the accessory sprue here, which we have everything like the axes, the picks, hammers, gas tanks. The 50 cal machine gun is slide molded, so the tip of the barrel as well as the actual housing in here is all slide molded, so it all stacked together. There are a couple of really cool little grease guns in here that you can put on the inside of the turret. And let's see, I thought there was supposed to be a 30 cal here too. Maybe it's on a different sprue, or I might be looking right at it and don't see it. But you got the 50s. Oh no, the 30, yeah, I'm sorry. The 30's right there, right above the 50. So you've got your 50s, 30s, grease guns, and all the other tools and accessories. This piece right here is made up of more parts for like another different mantlet here, the rear, and then of course the canvas cover that goes around the mantlet. That's nicely molded too to give it some nice detail. And of course there's a big opening right here, as you guys can all see. And a gate that has been closed off. So maybe there's something for another kit that might be coming out. So I would highly doubt that this is the only Sherman that Ryefield Models is going to make, so I would expect a whole bunch more. So some of these parts might be shared between them. And finally, we have the suspension sprue, and we have got our wheels and suspension pieces. And I was looking over the instructions, which I'll show you briefly in a minute there. And the actually building up the suspension isn't going to be that difficult. I actually had a friend of mine saw this, and when he first got it, he was looking at it, and he says, and it's obviously more parts than the Tamiya kit, but way less parts than the Dragon kit. So it's like it's a good in-between, but the suspension will work on this. And you have little things on here for detailing. You can see we even have the little wing nuts. I love when they do stuff like this, because that little wing nut detail, it's minor, but boy, when you put that on top of the vehicle, it really makes things stick out. Now, we also have some of the Periscope Guards here, and I'm going to show you something else right now. The main periscope, or excuse the main light guards and things like that are all photo etch. We also have one of the little grates here that is made out of photo etch too. So this is included in the kit. And we also have a clear parts sprue. So all of the vision blocks as well as the lights are all made out of clear plastic. And the decals are a small set, but honestly there's not a heck of a lot of markings on the Sherman anyway. So we've got some big stars and a cool little artwork that goes on the side there. I like when they do things like that as well. So we'll take a look at the instructions now and just kind of give you a brief outline how it goes together. They're all color instructions and very clearly laid out. And I'm just going to get to that part with the suspension to kind of show you guys. The rest of the kit looks like it goes together in a breeze. So if you had a different set of tracks in here, this is probably like a day and a half, 2-day build tops. And we'll get to, oh yeah, so here's the beginning of the suspension. So not a heck of a lot of parts. There is a matter of putting the stuff together to make sure that it works. And you want to not glue in all the areas that it says not to glue on, because obviously if any glue ends up in any of those things, that suspension is not going to work at all. I have to admit, I'm probably going to glue mine all down anyway when I do build mine, because it doesn't matter to me that if it can do this. It's cool in one respect, but usually for me, I find that if you leave that stuff like that, I end up breaking it over time. So for me, it's not that big of a deal. And then of course, there's that little breakdown of how the tracks go together. So a little bit of work, as you can see right here, but if you got some time on your hand, I think it'll build up pretty nicely. And finally, there's just a few other little things, poly caps and some black thread that makes up for like the tow cable on here. So all in all, it looks to be a very nice kit. The kit retails in the United States for $64.99. And then the price, obviously you'll get them for less than that, but they are available right now, so you can go ahead and pick one up on a lot of different websites. We have them here in our store and as well as on our website too. So definitely, it looks like to be a very, very nice kit, and Ryefield Models has always done a great job building up model kits. guys, there is a quick breakdown on these two great new kits that are coming out. Like I was telling you before, I've already started on the Voiio kit. It's coming out really nicely, so expect a video on that fairly soon. Also want to point out to you guys, for all of my European watchers, don't forget August 17th in Delmenhorst, Germany, the northern part of Germany. I am going to be making an appearance there at the Summerfest at MBK, or Model Ball Konig. I'll put a web address down here on the bottom that you guys can go check it out. It'll be a fun day of all kinds of cool stuff. There'll be demonstrations and model kits for sale. They open up the entire warehouse to the public to purchase stuff, and it is a huge place, and very excited to go over there. And I want to thank MBK for inviting me over. I'm really excited about it. Gonna see a little bit of Europe beforehand too. We're gonna go to Paris and Amsterdam and a few other places along the way. But August 17th, don't forget, I want to see all my European watchers come out. I'd love to meet you all, so it's very exciting. So I want to thank you guys as always for watching, and please stay tuned because we have many more videos coming.